What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, I need to kill a conversation that has been going on. And the reason I gotta kill the conversation is because I don't want it to get louder than it should. And I need to put a halt to it right now, because if I don't put a halt to this conversation right now, it becomes a bigger problem than what it should. And we can't let this go any further than what it is. So the conversation currently that's being said is that if Jayden Daniels is still injured, or even if he's 100%, let Marcus Mariota get some games in. Let me say this, and I'll say this loudly enough for those in the back to hear me. If Jayden Daniels can play, he needs to play. I'm going to say this because I think that there's a lot of times people don't express or say the things that people need to actually hear. And when people don't hear the things that they need to hear, they're always caught up in a conundrum of reasonable thinking and non-reasonable thinking. So with that being said, look, and this is to the fans, understand this. I know we've got a history of backup quarterbacks being better than the starters. I know that. Yes, Washington has a history of that. We have a history of our backups being better than our starters, right? I mean, and that goes back to even dealing with the Sonny Billy problem, right? Then you had the Jay Schrader, Doug Williams issue. Then you had the Gus Frerotte and Heath Shuler problem. Then you had the Heath Shuler, Gus Frerotte, and Trent Green problem. Then you had the whole thing of Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins. You know? And then let's not forget our more superior guy, Taylor Heineke, and everybody he was better than. And understand that we have examples after examples after examples of that. Jeff George and Brad Johnson. We just got so many examples of our backup quarterback being better than our starter. But this is not the case. Marcus Mariota is not better than Jayden Daniels. Marcus Mariota doesn't give us the best chance to win it all at quarterback. That doesn't mean that he's not good. That doesn't mean that he can't get it done. It just means that when it comes time to really get it done, you need your elite level quarterback. That's just what you need. You need your guy who knows what he's doing. A guy who makes teams really change their defense due to him. Marcus Mariota isn't bad, but he's not Jayden. And that's something that we all have to understand. That this is no longer the team. This is no longer the Redskins. And I'll say it. This is why I don't want to go back to that name. We're no longer the Redskins. We're the Commanders. And we finally, after so many years of constantly looking to find a guy that can be our guy, and watching as our guy march us to the promised land. Like I said, we've seen this before. We've had where the backup, another good example of a backup being better than what we thought the starter was, is also Mark Rippon and Stan Humphries. We've seen this type of stuff play out before. Shane Matthews and Danny Warfel. We've seen this happen before. So, at the end of the day, don't think that even for the slightest of moments, you need to start Mariota and then basically soft bench Jayden Daniels like that. No, he's not that type of quarterback that you have to do that to. You can do that to Bryce Young because of the fact that Bryce Young may not get it. You don't do that to Jayden Daniels. Like, we're talking about a guy that is being looked at as an elite top 5 quarterback. Marcus Mariota isn't in the top 10. Marcus Mariota isn't even in the top 20. So there's no way you bench a top 5 or have this thought that a top 5 elite quarterback needs to sit on the bench so he can learn more. No, he doesn't need to learn more. What he needs to do is understand and get his ass back into that lab like he's supposed to. Get his ass back on that VR, whatever that contraption is, and do what he's supposed to be doing. Because yes, he does look quite rusty right now. But that don't mean that in the next game you don't bring him back. If he's healed for the next game, you bring him back. Because again, your elite guy is what is needed. Now, don't get me wrong. I can understand holding him out because you don't want his injury to get worse. But hell, y'all, we found out that the man had broken ribs. Like, do y'all understand? This man was playing on, and that's why I was like, well, why is he acting that way if his ribs are on, if it's only sore or it's only cracked? No, he basically said that they were broken. So now that makes sense for why he probably didn't throw the ball as strongly in the games until later in the season, where all of a sudden you saw his arm strength come back. But at the same time, it still looked like he was wincing a little bit when it came to some of the playoff games. Again, y'all, you don't sit your elite level quarterback, especially if he can play. And I understand, like, I get it, y'all. We've had a history here of backup quarterbacks just being better than the starters, but we don't have that. For the first time in our history, well, for the first time in a long time of this franchise, no matter their name, we actually don't have a quarterback controversy. We don't have a quarterback controversy because even for all those howlers, those Sam Howlers, we all saw Jacoby Brissett as the better quarterback. We saw that. This is the first time we don't have to deal with that. And thinking that just because Jayden looks rusty that all of a sudden he needs to go to the bench and watch Mariota do it. No. Mariota is not the better quarterback. If Jayden can play, let him play. Now, again, like I said, injury is injury. And I get it. If he has to be sat because he's injured, I understand. But you're not going to have me understand him sitting on the bench healthy like y'all did Brendan Coleman. Like, you're not going to have me understand Jayden sitting on the bench, being a healthy scratch, or being the backup. You're not going to have me understand that. Especially when you're talking about a quarterback that is in the elite category, number 5 in the elite category, keeps us in the power rankings because of his elite status, and understanding that, guess what? The play that Marcus Mariota fumbled on, Jayden probably wouldn't have did that. Jayden probably wouldn't have tried to jump, probably tried to hurdle a whole player and lose the ball in the process. Again, that doesn't mean Marcus Mariota isn't the guy we need as a backup quarterback. Yes, he's great as a backup quarterback. But if Jayden is healthy, Jayden is back in the game. Jayden is back on the block. Jayden is back in the starter's role. Jayden doesn't have to sit on the bench because he needs to see Marcus Mariota run the offense. Jayden already knows the offense. He learned it last year and he knows it even more this year. So for that, I'm killing that discussion. We don't need Marcus Mariota to stay the quarterback if Jayden is healthy. He's a superior quarterback. He's an elite level quarterback. And like I said, we don't have to worry about Mariota being better than him. Our starter for the first time in a long time is the better quarterback. That's just it. So I need y'all to stop that talk. Stop that discussion. Because Mariota is not going to be better than Jayden. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about what I'm saying? How do y'all feel about me just going through the history of backup quarterbacks that Washington has had that have been better than the starters? How do y'all feel about that? How did some of y'all feel about the fact that, hey, look, for the first time in a long time, our elite level quarterback, who's the starter, doesn't have to worry about the guy that's behind him because he's just better than him? Y'all tell me what y'all think. How many of y'all agree with me? How many of y'all disagree with me? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, and share. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and it's been the Frustrated Fans Sports Show.